Welcome, ladies and gents, to the ECS, where we have 20 of the best teams from Europe and North America battling it out for over $3 million in 2016. And as usual, I'm joined here by James and by Mr. Janko, the weatherman, our analyst. How are you guys doing?
Who answers first, me or him?
Well, you can,
Do you want to answer first, or should I answer first?
He was looking at you, James.
I was looking at the camera, I couldn't see. Well, I'm doing all right, Dan. As you know, because we travelled here together, so...
Yeah, but they don't know that.
That's also true.
What is their concern for your well-being, James?
I don't know what I can do for that.
We can...
How are you, Janko? Let's just move on to you, shall we?
I'm fine, thank you.
Great. Now we got that out of the way with. Let's check out the schedule. We've got a bunch of cool matches today, we're actually featuring two NiP matches. First off against Mousesports, as we're about to see, and also later on against G2. So those are the two big games to look forward to. And NiP very likely to just be able to qualify through to land if they're able to win this first matchup. So it's a very important one. Of course, the playoffs are going to start from tomorrow. So at the end of today, we'll find out all of the teams that are through for either the playoffs or for the land. So it's going to be exciting times here on the stream. Any highlights as far as the matchups? Any quick comments?
Well, NiP is in a position where if they win one of their two games tonight, they've secured a spot at the LAN already. If not, they're going to be in the playoffs, and FaZe, as far as I know, will take that second seed and go straight to Wembley. So NiP has their own fate in their hands.
Excellent. What about you, James? Do you have any highlights coming up today? We've got two cool matchups, both featuring NiP. I know you're a big Mousesports fan, so...
I'm looking forward to seeing NiP, basically. You know, it's quite fun to watch them under threat, and great to see him being back involved. So I'm just going to nerd out and see what they have up their sleeve today.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing whether or not Scream and Shock, see if we can get that consistency, because it's been really fun watching them lately. But of course, that is the second best of three. We can actually check out the rankings quickly. I believe we have that ready now, actually. So there you go. So top two teams are going to be going to LAN, and that's actually the North American ranking.
Nice.
Which is, of course, North America will be later tonight with Mr. Jackie and Mr. Fifth Lauren. But there we go. We got European rankings. So Astralis and FaZe at the top there. But NiP, with those two matches, pretty strong chance to make it to the top two there. Any quick thoughts there, Janko, on how the rankings are panning out going into these last matches here today?
Yeah, I think it's a bit surprising. This is not the same ranking I saw on HLTV, so I'm a bit confused, because in what I've seen, Fnatic and VP were swapped, but probably I'm wrong. So yeah, interesting to see that FaZe is so high up, to be honest. They were struggling with the roster change, and after bringing Robban into the team and so forth, so a good showing from them in this league so far.
That's a very good showing, yeah.
Still not out of the woods yet. If NiP wins their games, they have to play in the playoffs, but...
I think they're kind of flying under the radar as well, with just how strong they are performing at the moment. So I think this will be quite a surprise to a lot of people, and we'll see if FaZe can make it all the way. But yeah, NiP Mousesports first. Yeah,
of course, and obviously some shocking results there as well. I mean, there is an explanation, but Fnatic are pretty much at the bottom of the table, and it's going to be very hard for them to do much at this point. So, I mean, they've had some real struggles, and that's kind of sad that we probably won't see them.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so nothing to add there. Fair enough. Well, it's then time for the Score Esports pre-match breakdown. We've got Janko here to break down our first match.
Yep, so we have NiP Mousesports. The last time these two teams played each other was at the Major in Columbus, in that decider game, and that was where we all thought that Mousesports made a mistake in their veto process, that they had Dust 2 open, which was and probably still is their strongest map, but they decided to pick Cobblestone because they thought NiP doesn't play the map at all, which was wrong, and they got crushed on it, and in the end they lost the series because of it. But the pistol is live.
Seems like it is. So looks like we have Cobblestone up immediately. So it's going to be NiP, who should be having a great advantage here, starting on that T side. This is NiP written all over it. We'll have to see if Mousesports can get this defense going for a solid start. NiP losing 6 of 6 pistol rounds yesterday. Let's see if they can get that sorted out here. But so far, it's looking pretty amazing for Mousesports. 3/4 quick frags, leaving it just down to Xizt.
He's trying to pepper with the P250. Okay, he's got lots of time on his hand. Running away, they will hear him running away, but obviously he can choose to go back if he wants to. He can always try to fake as well, but he is going to just be committed. And surprise, surprise, NiKo killed almost the entire team. chrisJ will be the one to finish things off though. And Mousesports will get off to the start they needed. A good start on the CT side.
And it's important to note yesterday in their game against FaZe, NiP actually didn't have threat. Apparently he's ill, as well as Xizt and Friberg.
He's better now.
So yes, today he's here, so probably gonna be of big help for NiP.
He told me that he had food poisoning, and that after 6 rounds of Mirage, when he had to like constantly be running to the bathroom, he felt like it probably wasn't going to work. So he decided to skip out. So they had him for the first map, but not for Mirage and Dust 2.
Mousesports waiting. Friberg spotted, and instantly going to back off is chrisJ. Does not want to get overwhelmed here. Mousesports going to try and use the range as much as possible. Don't want to get one-tapped by these Tech 9s. Interestingly, on a pistol round, the P250 has a superior one-tap range to the Tech 9. Well, the T's slowly moving to the site, so they're still managing to close the distance, and I'm quite curious to see how Mousesports will deal with this. Denis has gone down, chrisJ going to get wrecked. I mean, he moved back from A long to avoid getting one shot, he gets one shot anyway. 3 versus 4. We've got a number of heavily tagged NiP players, but now it's down to a 2 versus 2. Still no weapons picked up by NiP. The Tech 9 and a Deagle onto pyth and GetRight respectively. There you go, pyth picking up a FAMAS now. There is a crossfire for these T's as well, and Mousesports seem to have no idea where GetRight is until he starts firing his Deagle. Now NiKo is locked in, and he is going to get the frag. So it's pyth. Look at the health on these 2 CTs. He could really do this for his team. Here's the running now, and that clock is ticking quite a lot. NiKo doesn't have a kit either, and pyth can play the time now. He can play that clock, sees NiKo's shadow. NiKo can just hunt for the last frag. That's all he'll do. USP, of course, 1-1.
Mousesports have this habit of when their opponents only have pistols, even if their opponents don't have armor, they just play so defensively. They're so scared of getting one-digged or whatever, getting rushed by the Tech 9s. You see how much ground they gave to NiP, and at some point, I mean, NiP gets to the bomb site without being challenged at all, almost. And after they get the bomb down, even though they only have pistols, it's hard for Mouse to do the retake. And I don't know why they keep doing it. They've lost so many rounds because of it. It's not even funny.
It is very without humor. And pyth's going to be going in here. Nice little long take. So this is an anti-force by type strategy here from NiP, just getting themselves up long. Once you get through those first annoying positions, you're onto these open spaces, and it's very hard for the CTs to do all that much at all. And so far, so good here for NiP. Although they are going to lose a couple players, NiKo he's really unable to do much from this position. We'll see him rotate around just to get a quick look in here towards the balcony. Maybe he can get a pick off, but if he goes past that little banister there, he's going to be in for trouble. So NiKo just waiting. He realizes there is a player on the site, and he is going to go for it. They're moving forwards for some damage, but he can't get anything else done. So that's a pretty good result for NiP, only losing 2 players in the end.
And also, that rankings graphic confused me a little bit. So I did some checking. Also, Lance, the manager of Mousesports, messaged me. Actually, if Mouse beats NiP here, they secure 2nd place, because in a 3-way tie between them, NiP and FaZe, Mousesports has the best score.
Right.
Actually, Mouse can secure a land spot by a win in this best of 3.
Ooh, NiKo getting punished there, going for a bit of a meat shot with the Mag 7. Not going to work out. Next close, he's going to be flashed, and he's going to be eliminated. This is an eco from Mousesports. They're all bunched up for Spiddy though, and he could do considerable damage here. Xizt and pyth are vulnerable now to the deal of Denis, but he's only got 40 HP himself, 13 HP. And he's going for a jog in the sun. Nice and sunny here in the chateau.
Between these 2 teams, I can never really see a kind of a veto process that is where Mousesports get the better out of it. I just can't really see how that would ever happen. And what are your thoughts there, Janko? I mean, do you ever see Mousesports being able to ever create a situation with the vetoes where they've got a superior situation? Because a map like Cobblestone, you know, one that Mousesports are somewhat comfortable with, you know, I'd say NiP, you know, that's one of their better maps. It's one of their best maps. They think it's their best map from time to time. So between that and Cash and, you know, maps which do well for Mousesports, NiP are all over it.
I mean, they're obviously really confident on it, at least against Mousesports, because they picked it over Cash. Cash was also available for NiP, but they decided against it, maybe because of the game against FaZe yesterday as well. But Mousesports this time around did pick Dust too, so I would favor them on that map, even against NiP. And then the third map is Train, where we saw Mousesports actually have a pretty strong T side yesterday. So NiP claims that they can play all the maps equally good. So we'll have to wait and see.
It's going to be fun to find out.
I think Mouse has their chances. I don't think they're completely out of it because of the Mouse.
Yeah, especially if NiP keep losing pistol rounds, which now they're 7 for 7 pistol rounds played and lost in ECS since yesterday. Well, it's a nice little take there of Long. We saw that that setup previously where Pitts is, you know, flashed in by a teammate on the anti-force buy round, and it works a treat here as well. In NiP, they got in the frag, they've claimed position over towards A, and that will cause a slight rotation. We've got Next coming over to the APC, and also they've left somebody forward here on B plateau. So Mousesports have actually more or less read what's going on. They've got NiKo there, so forward information that allows them to stack 3 players onto A. So Mousesports have done pretty much all they can here to try to set up to defend this.
So the nades will start streaming in. Xizt is going to get flashed by a teammate, I think. Denis doing what he can now, trying to hide around that smoke, and loads of people are blind. They realise somebody's there, and they will get 2 frags very quickly indeed. So this hold is not really working out for the CTs, despite stacking the A site. Next trying to get the 1 frag there, but there will be no frags whatsoever for Mousesports. NiKo last to go down. Pistol round for Mousesports, and it's all falling apart here. It looks like a bit of a disaster at present. Mousesports will be on the NiKo, of course, on this round as well. So there's a short pause here. NiP with some team speak issues. It's funny that I think Lepis mentioned, you know, back in the day, people will say, "Oh, there's a team speak issue," and then, you know, just to get an extra pause in. But obviously, 4-1 up, I don't think NiP are going to be doing that now. They've got momentum in their favour.
There were a lot of tricks.
Oh yeah,
back in the day.
Tell us, Janko.
I mean,
what were you
Serbia,
doing? How are you cheating people?
In Serbia, you know, you start losing pistol and you restart your own PC and say you crashed.
Wow,
that happened.
There's no eloquence to that.
I mean, to be fair, it mostly happened in like joking in the first stages of a tournament where it was some maybe lower tier teams or maybe even some friends who knew each other, so they had some fun. It wasn't, you know, in finals of tournaments, it wasn't really happening. In
Street Fighter, when you play online, if you're about to beat someone, they'll pull the power cord out of their console. Because the game doesn't finish, so that's it. They just don't lose, basically.
Nice trick.
Yeah. Anyway, back to Counter-Strike. 4-1 NiP. Mousesports going to be on the Eco again. And I do wonder, like, what the plan was. I mean, there's definitely a round for them to review that second round because they saw the players in long. They had some range there, but then they chose to put themselves at max range. But then they didn't engage at max range. NiP were on the site before they were engaging, and things fell apart there. So it seems they want to do 2 things, didn't do either. Nice 1 dig by Denis, but he's going to need to do a lot more here. Friberg holding an angle, people are getting hurt, and an AK is being picked up. Pit can't really face here, he's got 7 HP, 3 versus 2. The bomb is having to rotate very far indeed, and you can see Spiddy is still on the site here. If Spiddy can stay alive or even take down Get Right, he sees the head, sees the dome, and there it is. Now NiP have massive problems. Yeah,
really nice angle found by Spiddy there, and Xizt. The only guy with any HP has got to go for this. And Spiddy's got a really good read on the position, understanding that if there was a rotation, one of the quickest routes is going to be this B plateau. Sorry, rather the drop zone area, as opposed to B plateau. And he gets the drop onto Xizt. And now Pit's got to clutch this. Oh, very close there from Pit. 7 HP on him. How does he play this? He has no idea where the CT is. Is he going to push the smoke? It's very smart, actually. Drop the smoke and then go through. And this might confuse Denis a little bit because he would have heard that smoke. So he would be expecting a plant. So let's see whether or not pyth can actually clutch this one. He's going to have a huge head start on Denis. A lot of time is going to be going from the bomb by the time Denis gets there. But I mean, by the time Denis gets near the bomb, he's probably only going to have 15 seconds left or something. 15 to 20 seconds, and here he goes. pyth playing with the smoke, going for the face. Very brave there from pyth. Falling back now, his position is given away, so he loses a lot of the ability to play the time now, because already the CT knows where to look, but perhaps not. Denis will go down. What a clutch there from pyth. But the fact that it was needed perhaps is another topic entirely.
Yeah, that was colossal damage done by Mousesports in that round. Bearing in mind it was a NiKo as well. And they're going to go for double AWPs. Not very often you see this on the CT side. Well, on either side at all on this particular map. So, I mean, if chrisJ's going to go aggressive, look over the smoke towards the boulder, I would presume. Although that flash is a massive problem for him now. The other option, sometimes you see chrisJ for NV, will be towards the connector door, looking down, a bit more of a passive angle. So let's see, we have an execute from NiP, but we do know this can be used as a fake, but it's not this time. Get right in the sight, very fast indeed. NiKo playing around the statue now, get right coming in close, going to shoot him in the torso.
Yeah, this is a really big round to try to get damage in, and they're really removing the ability for the AWPs to work with all those smokes. This set piece is the classic NiP set piece they showed at the major. And it's very reminiscent to the set piece behind the A main area on Cash, actually. Always reminds me of that one. And not much for Mouse to do, really, except just go for the save. So nice recovery from NiP, only losing a single player. It's the perfect kind of a round to play when a team just buys 2 AWPs, just smoke them off entirely. They couldn't even fire a shot. You saw, I think, NiKo on the statue, he couldn't do anything. He just sat there, and then the player is almost at point-blank range immediately. And from which side, it's hard to predict. One thing NiP do need to sort out, though, is making sure that they get their Molotovs in position in the right spots, because that round that was very close where pyth had to clutch, it was all because they couldn't get the Molotov in the right place in A long, and then it became just 1 versus 1s instead of using those nades to clear out the spots, which is uncharacteristic of the Swedes.
NiP are swimming in cash at the moment. pyth's on almost $13,000, so you can see these are dire straits for Mousesports. And obviously, I mean, this is a map where on the CT side, if you lose the pistol, then you're in for a really bad start. But they won the pistol. That's the only round they've won so far, Mousesports. Could see a pop flash coming in here, although Friberg's going to have to push. Pop flash comes in, perfect timing. But Denis is down now, and it'll be the trade frag situation, but trade's not required. Friberg has a nade in his hand, smoking off the choke point. So will not be able to respond to the AWP from chrisJ, who is moving onto the site now. Gap in the smoke, might not be checked. Perfect flash coming in though, but I think that might have been from a teammate actually. Another flash coming in, and down chrisJ goes. He's done all he can. Friberg is wrecking Mousesports in this round. NiKo on the Mag 7 and next to do what they can. The bomb still needs to make its way onto the site though.
Yeah, but this shouldn't be really a problem here for NiP, although next does find a good timing on to Xizt, though the bomb will still be planted. And with 2 players towards the side here, NiKo's got some work on his hands, and Friberg with the 3rd frag. I feel like the most decisive of the 3 that he picked up. And now it's just next here by the APC. Nice frag there onto Friberg around the APC. Now he's tossing the incendiary, caught with the nade in his hand, and that is something that cannot happen in that situation. And 7-1. This is the kind of T-half that is very scary here from NiP. They have had some mistakes though, and Mouse have had some chances, but it's got to feel.
Not really.
It's got to feel pretty awful.
I feel NiP is completely outplaying Mousesports now, and they're so difficult to read. You could see what they were doing from the beginning of the game, basically going for a slow A take, then into an execute with smokes, then a pretty fast execute towards B, then a dry, basically rush into A again. So Mousesports at that point can't really predict anything. How can they adjust? And Cobble being, you know, structured as it is, it's already limited for CTs to go for any aggression, right? So they basically need to take more risks, gamble more on their setups, and hope that their players will deliver when NiP actually comes their way.
Well, the Mousesports back on the pistols and Kevlar buy, and the numbers are dwindling. You can see the bonus down, so this round is already a formality, and it's just about what Mousesports can rescue for the next round. Obviously, they have things to save themselves, but they will desperately want to pick up at least 1 AK. Next in a good position. 5-7's not seeing too many of them at the moment compared to CZ's. Oh, he's gone to draw out the gun. He's made it work, and now he's drawing out a flashbang. Greedy, perhaps. I mean, they're all exiting. You have to realize that there's going to be more behind them.
He really likes drawing his nades. Next really likes drawing his nades, it seems.
Yeah, one of those.
There's only actually one round where I can think where Mousesports weren't at a disadvantage, and I can't even say they were at an advantage. Like the round where I think it was like 5 versus 4 for NiP, they realized it's going to be an A play, and they set up everyone there, but they still couldn't stop it. And that's the only round which was even doable, super doable for Mousesports.
That's the angle that KenYes normally holds. You can wallbang that angle.
It's back to the double ops here, and this goes back to what Janko was saying. It feels like a complete gamble whether to play that sort of setup, because you can just get wrecked by nades if you have that setup.
And look at chrisJ is the only player towards A, and he's playing in connector, so he can easily be his effects can be negated, by smokes. But now he's moving towards the bomb site more. It seems like Mouse was going towards B in case of a fast execute or a rush, but now they're going back to a 3-2 setup. But they have no map control. I mean, they could only have long control, long holes, but they don't have that either. They don't have control of drop. They have no idea where NiP is, pretty much, or what they're setting up for at this point. The only thing they know is that there's some presence towards A holes from NiP.
So you can see Mousesports taking a gamble. chrisJ has a rifler in for support, but they're not looking at the lower area now. So he's having to do 2 jobs at once. And he'll have to rely on his teammates to have his back, but the flashes for NiP are perfect, and they will continue to reset the situation. But chrisJ coming in with 2 no-scopes now. Done great work for his team. Individual performance needed just to give Mousesports a chance here. Get right, takes Denis down to a 2 versus 2, picks up the ult, and he will have his frag stolen by Friberg.
Really good work here done by chrisJ. He's given NiKo a spot which can be done, but it's going to be tough. Smart of GetRight to pick up the AWP, and that's a nice position as well. Oh, NiKo still gets that shot though. GetRight goes down. Now NiKo against an unknown Friberg. Friberg could really be anywhere at this point. And
NiKo's got no kit, so he might have to give it up.
Just going to try to wait and see if there'll be a peek. He's going to be pushing in there. Finds Friberg, can't hit the no-scope. There was an opportunity there to be had by NiKo. And that's so unfortunate for Mousesports. They haven't had many chances.
I mean, great effort from chrisJ, but that round kind of falls on Denis, to be honest, because he was the first player on the rotate. chrisJ managed to buy enough time for him to get in a good position, but then he completely whiffs the spray. And GetRight manages to get the kill. From that point on, the rest of the 2 players of Mousesports were still rotating, and by the time they got to the bomb site, NiP already had control, and GetRight gets another kill on the player that was on balcony. So, I mean, Denis had the jump on GetRight. He should have just gotten that kill. There's no other way around it. And now Mouse is 9-1 down.
Yeah, they're on a tactical pause as well. But, I mean, I don't even know what the solution is here for them. They played so passively. Again, you said they had no map control. I think it was quite a weak setup there that they had, and they basically had to take a gamble over towards A and have an individual performance from chrisJ. 2 no-scopes along with a 3rd kill as well. And they still didn't take the round. So we will see what they can do. Not many frags on the Mousesports side at the moment. Again, it's one of the more difficult maps to kind of have an aggressive response as the CTs. I want to say, I think there are some smokes you can do from CT spawn which go quite deep into T main towards B. But it's not the easiest of places to take.
I'm not sure who did it. Maybe it was NiP, maybe Luminosity. I can't quite remember. But you can throw that smoke you're talking about at the beginning of B platform for the Ts. And then they also, sometimes they do it delayed, and they carpet molly the area behind the broken wall where the CTs usually smoke, so that the Ts have to fall back, and then they clear the whole of B platform by doing that way. But that, for one, takes a lot of resources. You need good timing, and it's a big giveaway of what you're doing, right? The Ts can react to it. And also, if there's no Ts there, you basically wasted a lot of resources and time, and you moved your players around and didn't gain much. It's just how the map works, basically. It mostly comes down to, playing a game of cat and mouse towards that B platform and not getting spammed or mollied out. Maybe getting a player there delayed and because it's kind of easier to maybe hold platform than it is drop later in the round.
Well, it looks like the tactical has ended. We're back into the rounds, into the match. And it's the Quasi here for Mousesports. So we'll see their plan, or their plans to adapt in the next round. But it's very hard, as pointed out on the CT side, to really get proactive. Instead, you are largely reactive on a map like Cobblestone. So again, the usual anti-force by anti-eco type play from NiP, trying to take away long and doing so with all the nades, with the flashes. And so far, so good. Starting to see a rotation here from Mousesports as Denis and Next come in. And NiKo's going to stay towards B, just in case. But really, the chances here for Mousesports are quite low. And one by one, they will be picked away by the superiority of the Arsenal and the prowess of pyth on that AK-47.
I mean, Cobble is extremely T-sided. So, seeing as how miserable NiP has been with their pistol rounds, there's still a chance for Mouse. But they obviously need more than one round. And we saw in their game against Dignitas yesterday, especially on train, that they had a lot of strats in place. They had a clear game plan as well. They were boot camping for, I think, a whole week prior to these games. So I would expect them to have something in store on T side of Cobble. But as I said, they need more than one round.
Yeah, and the thing that really worries me is that, you know, the kind of Cobble that I saw from Mousesports on, well, at past tournaments has been very fragmented, very confused. They played that very long overtime series against Flipside, for example, and you could really see that they didn't really have much structural plan in many of the rounds, and so that was very worrying to see. And it doesn't encourage me. I would expect them to, you know, need to really pick up something to the degree of 6 to 7, 8, you know, maybe even 8 rounds on their CT side to make it doable against a team like NiP.
All right, then, Mousesports back on the bye, but at a 9-round deficit. So we have some aggression over towards the A-bomb site now from Mousesports, but it's poorly timed because NiP seem to be concentrated over towards A. We have the execute coming in again. This time, NiKo's up close, trying to avoid the pop flashes into the site itself, and indeed he will. Down goes Xizt. Now he can come back to the 180 and take down GetRight. So he's found a hole, he found a chink in the armor again. We saw it happen previously for NiP, and now against Na'Vi, and now we see more problems. They're coming back there with the frags, but NiKo is still alive, and Friberg is the last man standing for his team, and he gets taken down. So yeah, NiP, I think it was Edward for Na'Vi who would play close, and he realized how the first man comes into the site and managed to counter that. But NiKo seems to have found his own little kink there by just jumping up around the smoke behind the box.
That's why at times these B executes feel a bit random, because a lot of it depends on the city player that has first contact, right? If he can somehow stay alive, grab a kill or two, and that buys enough time for his team to run through the smokes and support him. If he just dies immediately, then the T's basically get control of the whole site if there's not someone in chicken coop, basically.
Well, it is time for the buy versus buy again. Can Mousesports get the momentum going for themselves? NiP won't be going for that B play again, so no opportunity to shut it down in the same way. Instead, they go for the classic A long takes, and there's the first trade. chrisJ still in place, so able to pick up a frag there, maybe even a second one. Yes, indeed, chrisJ has done excellent work, giving Mousesports, with the help of Denis, a man advantage. 3 versus 2 here, and position is there with Mousesports. Great peek from Next. Just down to GetRight now versus 2. He's got a minute to play with. However, the bomb is in control of this with the CTs, to some extent at least. They know where it is. And there goes the incendiary as well. So GetRight has quite a lot of work to do here. And he's got a molly of his own, actually. But where do you throw it?
Next should have seen the bomb, surely, but NiKo's still on a very slow rotation. It seems that Next is going to concede the position of the bomb itself. So, but now NiKo should be speeding up as he sees that flash come in. 35 seconds left for GetRight to make a play here, and he'll be wondering where the trade fragger is. Still yet to be announced, and now GetRight will start to look behind him, and indeed, NiKo is coming in from the back. 25 seconds left. How long will GetRight wait? Oh, the timing! I knew that was going to happen. It's the nature of the beast. Well, now Next is starting to wonder as well, popping out, and he will put GetRight out of his misery. Nice read by GetRight, trying to figure out what exactly do the CTs want to do? What are they trying to achieve here? If he just had one more second, then maybe he would have won the round.
Yep, last round it was NiKo, this round it was chrisJ with a good hold for Mousesports, and now things are shaping up a bit for them. Still, Speedy is forced to play with an UMP in this particular round, but if Mousesports can get to 5 rounds, then they still have a chance in this game.
Yeah, and chrisJ is back on the Europe in a forward position there towards a long looking for some shenanigans. He doesn't really have any support this time around though, but does chrisJ need it? He's been great as of late. And there's the first flash. chrisJ knows what's going on. He's going to take the first peek, but he's not in a safe position. He's going to go back for more. Yeah, maybe he had an opportunity to fall back to safety, but he doesn't know it. He's going to go forward for the aggression. Picks up the frag, burned alive, however, as the push comes in to drop zone simultaneously in NiP now. Getting all these positions, but looks like it's going to be Mousesports cleaning them up. Now Forest is the hope. Gets the trade back onto next. Flank upon flank coming in this round. And now Forest has the bomb sites. But this is super weird. The bomb is between 2 players right now. Forest is going to sort that situation out very, very quickly. And now it's just down to NiKo in a 1 versus 2. Very interesting situation. He's going to need to hit all of his shots, says NiKo. But it's not going to happen. Forest is going to be on top of things there. 3 frags for him in the round. And that's going to be another round for NiP as they go 11-3 and break the money of Mousesports for the very last round of the first half.
Yep, a really important round because Mousesports' economy was still low. Now they're forced onto pistols. NiP almost lost the round because they forgot the bomb at top of team mid right there, but a couple of great kills from Forest secured the round for them.
Well, let's see just how dominant this NiP half can be. Again, we have yet more aggression over towards A here from the Mousesports side. See the area towards CT spawn getting smoked off, and now Forest is in for the hunt. And these CTs are susceptible to being pincered, but chrisJ off to a good start, and that is a great finish there for Denis. The next will be taken as a prize by the NiP side. So we're down to a 3 versus 3. Denis picking up an AK. There's obviously another rifle to be collected, which NiP will be aware of. Denis coming into play close now, and it seems Mousesports will maybe wisely not try to retrieve that one. But while they will bide their time, NiKo is going to come in from the back, and that will be the read for the team that allows Denis to rotate as NiKo continues his flank. So Speedy now, it's his turn to try and waste as much time as possible. Comes out though, and he will get eliminated. The flank does continue here from NiKo. He's picked up that second AK now. Spots 1 player. Friberg will get taken down. Can he pick up Pit as well?
Really nice play there from NiKo, just trying to slow down Pit. Just trying to harass him, then goes for the immediate reposition. So Pit's going to be worrying about that 1 player from long that he feels is likely still there. But instead what NiKo's done is he's created what should be a pretty decent trade situation. So Pit's going to try to deny trading with the positioning, but it's very hard. That's a very good position to do it from, but he gets tagged down pretty low. 15 points of health as he goes for the next engagement, but it's going to be won by NiKo in the end. So the defuse comes in for the 11-4, but as we discussed, 4 rounds is probably not nearly enough, but we'll have to see if Mousesports can win that pistol. I mean, NiP have lost so many pistols. It's insane.
11-4. 11-4. That is even by CT standards on I was going to say Mirage than Mousesports. On Cobblestone, it's a pretty dire situation. But again, NiP's recent record on pistols is not spectacular by any means. In fact, it is somewhat disgusting. So we will see if Mousesports can get another pistol on the board. They so desperately need it.
I mean, it's also important to note that Mouse lost both of their coaches, and they are obviously still looking for someone who can be a coach and an in-game leader from that position, right? I think as of now, probably it's still NiKo doing most of the calling for the team, which is not optimal, but doesn't seem to hinder his performance as much. And you were mentioning then how you disliked their T side mostly, and I agree with that. Once they had Capio as a coach and a caller, I really didn't like how they were using NiKo, because they were mostly using him as a lurker all the way on the other side of the map, something even similar to what Happy does for Envious, right? And okay, that can work in a sense that NiKo by himself can get good reads and can make plays and get some kills on the lurk, but they had the problems that without him the team couldn't get into the bomb sites.
Right.
Basically, they couldn't get the trade kills. So I feel that in this iteration of Mousesports, especially on Cobble, NiKo needs to be with the team, right? Not probably the first guy going in, but the guy who goes in when he has the info to clean up and secure the round, get a couple of entry kills, because otherwise I fear that they will just get shut down before the lurker is in a position to do anything.
Yeah, it's a really, really good point, and it's also nice to see that you remove the predictability of always having someone who's so skilled and so versatile. I mean, you made the point with Get Right yesterday pretty well. It's a similar kind of deal. I mean, Get Right can be used in so many ways, not just as a lurker. And I think it's also good for players to keep it fresh as well. I mean, I think sometimes that, if you're doing everything just always the same, you can get into some habits, and it's harder to see a fresher perspective on certain things. So it's really interesting because Mousesports have so much potential in the players. I mean, I really feel like if you had this situation where you got like somebody who's very well respected in the team and very strategically minded, like someone like Fred, who can keep them accountable and kind of redo a lot of their strategies and how they play and call for them, then you see in Mousesports a very, very different side to Mousesports, perhaps.
Probably, yeah. And right now I feel that Mousesports is a worse version of Astralis, in a sense that they also have this mental block in games so many times against better and against worse opposition, in a sense, right? The way they lost at IN Katowice, they had a couple of devastating losses against Luminosity, 14-8 up on the T side of Cobble, interestingly enough, against Godsent in Malmo as well. But the pistol round starts.
Will NiP win a pistol?
Thus my watch has ended.
Will NiP win a pistol, James?
They've gone for they've put Friberg in an aggressive position, I think, over towards Friberg on Xizt over there towards the B bomb site, which means they can stack A, and Forrest is finally getting to work, although he has to be wary of somebody coming in from upper. He does realise he could be vulnerable from there. Looking all over the place now. Finds next. Very patient shooting there by Forrest, and he will find his 4th kill onto Denis of this round. So it's NiKo left, and he'll, fortunately for NiP, be taken down from the back.
NiP won a pistol round. Well, Forrest won a pistol round.
With a cameo appearance from the remainder of NiP.
It does feel a bit silly to say, okay, NiP's pistol rounds depend on Forrest. I don't think they depend, but he's obviously, when he's on fire, when he's playing well, he is one of the best pistol players in the world, so can be the deciding factor in those rounds for NiP, as he was right now, pretty much. And now it's looking really dire for Mousesports. We see that Nex already bought a Tech 9, so maybe that's a sign of them forcing. NiKo has a Deagle, but it's going to be extremely hard to make something happen without any grenades.
Yeah, they have that awful situation on the money, which encourages such things, and it's going to be interesting to see whether Mousesports can break NiP in the same fashion, just hitting some of those shots. Because sometimes, I mean, they have the ability to do like you say, like what a team like Astralis can do. We saw recently from Astralis, Dupree in multiple maps able to do a huge amount of work with his Deagle, like able to pick up 2 massive kills, which when that happens, the kills are not really returnable. You can't really trade for them correctly. So you have this situation where then you have to play a 3 versus 5 against the force bind, and then that's incredibly hard all of a sudden. So there's always hope with a team like Mousesports. So we'll have to see if they can get something lucky. But if that doesn't happen, then I don't really see them getting back into this first map at least.
Definitely. It's going to be an uphill struggle for sure. They're probably going to have to rely on some individual performance, some great headshots, 1-digs from NiKo, or probably Nex as well. He is also proficient with the Deagle, but looks pretty much... Don't look at me, James.
You're talking, what do you want?
You hate my defeatist. I was going to say it looks pretty much over now. I know you hate that.
Do I?
Yeah.
Since when did I hate that?
You were calling me out yesterday when it was 15-something.
Oh, since yesterday, okay.
So
you did call him defeated, so I remember that.
Yes, I did. That's true. You're completely correct. I have nothing else to say about that.
Excellent. Right. Well, it looks like we do have a bit of a technical issue there on the server. So it's currently being remedied. So we might take a quick little break as we discover what's going on. Hopefully it won't be too long, and we'll be back into this match, and we'll find out if Mousesports can actually make their comeback whilst this situation is fixed. So we'll see you very shortly for the rest of map 1 between Mousesports and NiP.
Dancing through the streets, we wander, falling for the fire. Dancing through the streets,
And we're back. The issue has been resolved. However, regarding the scores,
Ignore the scores.
yeah, it should be 11-4 and no,
I think it's 12-4.
sorry, 12-4. Sorry, NiP obviously winning the pistol round, winning their first pistol round
Ever.
in a while, and we will have the force spy coming in here from NiP. Sorry, rather from Mousesports. Obviously, the scores trying to read the top there. Everything's messed up. It's amazing. NiP versus NiP. Let's go.
Okay, so mere pistols here for Mousesports in a difficult spot, but they are starting to swarm the site as NiP did, but they're not having the success that the Swedes did on their turn. NiKo is last man left though, and he's got a deagle, and that's not good for NiP. He has Kevlar as well, which is more than he sometimes has.
And
He's trying to literally shoot everything right now. I don't think he has enough bullets to shoot all the things.
all the things.
So what are you going to do, NiKo? How are you going to find another kill?
Ooh. He's got a rifle.
And a dream.
Where's he going to put that rifle, James?
I know where he wants to put it, Dan.
Here we go. He's going for the peak, and he gets the first kill. Oh dear. forest is on 40 points of health, so NiKo can kill him in a variety of ways, although he himself cannot be scratched, lest he die. And here he goes. Where is forest? forest is just waiting. He's got 10 seconds more to wait. NiKo's got to go for the plant. forest has the angle. NiKo can't spot the angle in time. Very well picked spot for forest.
He must have been sweating bullets.
Tricky and an interesting decision from pyth. Obviously, they knew where the bomb was, but NiKo had a couple of directions he could come from. Maybe would have been better for them if they just stick together in the bomb site. This way, they gave him a chance, but in the end, great position from forest got the round. For NiP, and Mouse is now on the NiKo, probably going to be down 14-4, or NiKo will do this.
Hi there.
Just NiKo things, as per usual, is insane. Well, just NiKo's insane. Well, there's a start for Mousesports. They are still on the eco though. They're on a NiKo eco.
Eco with NiKo, also known as, well, it's just NiKo.
A NiKo eco.
A NiKo eco. A NiKo. And that is what a NiKo looks like, ladies and gentlemen. A NiKo is 3 frags with an eagle, essentially. So there's not much you can do against that. I mean, we already talked about that previously. It's the 5 versus 2 situation, and NiKo's going to find himself another 1D. Why the hell not? NiKo going pretty ham in this round. Not really much that forest can do. We'll see if he can get some extra frags. These players don't have any Kevlar, so forest has a shot, although it is a slim one. The flank is coming, and forest is going to be able to spot that. Picks up the kill as well, and he's going to fall back here, deciding that it's better to save this M4. And to be honest, he did a great deal of damage there. All things considered, taking down 3 players in the end, but the NiKo will be successful.
I mean, what do you do about it? There's nothing you can do about it, pretty much.
No.
You can't say that NiP was playing, over aggressive at that point. You need to hold some angle, right? You can't just hide away in the bomb site. But NiKo, with a couple of great shots, basically opens up a lot of room for his team. They get control of the bomb site, and forest is forced to save in the end. I mean, this was just disgusting. Through the smoke, just based on timing, then a long-range shot from drop onto platform. You can see that NiP tried to adjust by sending all of their players towards platform, and they would hold the drop from long range, but Eagle, get wrecked.
Yeah, get wrecked indeed. And now it's going to be NiP on the eco without NiKo. So their chances are worse. So let's see whether or not they can get some damage in at the very least. The AWP is out onto chrisJ more or less immediately, which is going to help out the T's somewhat. if they can get NiKo into position, that's kind of the dealio in this kind of a spot. We'll get the quick flash there, although not really a perfect flash, not much of a pop flash for the close positions, but it's going to do the job. NiKo just lurking out towards drop zone, able to pick up a frag as the rest of his teammates gather and press forwards up a long, and you can see systematically, thoroughly, diligently taking over all these positions with their grenades, trying to force a response or a frag should there be a CT hiding in any of these nooks or these crannies. And it's going to be a little push here from Forest and pyth that could seal their death warrant. Indeed, there goes pyth. So not really much to ask of NiP in this kind of situation. Forest is going to try to get some sneaky damage, perhaps survive. And that's more or less going to be the round. I mean, still a very long road for Mousesports, but this is a good way to start it off.
Yeah, it is a very long road back, and NiP being at 13 rounds, you have to wonder if they are too close to fail. But we will find out as the rounds continue. Now NiKo gonna have his turn to try and take this last weapon for Forest, and the AK upgrade will be a significant one. Next getting flashed through, and he may get taken down as well. Nope, finally Forest will be eliminated. AK upgraded. So 13-6 now. Mousesports still catching up. NiP, you should see them on an eco once more in this round. The AWP continues on to chrisJ, the rest is going to be on rifle. So let's have a look and see what kind of anti-eco Mousesports will offer, but also if NiP will go for an eco default, as you sometimes see, or if they're going to go for more of a stack, and it seems it will be the latter. All 5 players heading over towards the B bomb site. So again, expect Mousesports will be biding their time and just waiting for quite a while. And then hopefully they'll make good use of these Molotovs that they have. We'll see them start to be deployed, but no one from Mousesports is really committing to anything just yet. 3 HEs on the NiP side. There's no real utility for Mousesports to wait on to kind of get rid of here for the CTs, save for these 3 HEs. So makes me curious as to how long Mousesports will choose to wait in that regard. So NiKo avoiding the nades, but not the shot in the face. What is the response from Mousesports? Moving over towards the A site now. Minutes on the clock here. I feel like they're moving in response to the frag more than anything else. I was wondering if they would take, if they would leave themselves with too few time to safely take a site had no frag come in there for NiP. Xizt now with that AK. Oh, distraction being run as well. This could be a problem for Mousesports. 2 players left. Xizt going for the spray down, finding onto chrisJ. Spiddy knows where he is, and I think they both know that they're close. Xizt not going for the reload, popping with the P250, but the reload comes in, and he just about doesn't get the kill onto Spiddy there. So Mousesports will barely survive that test. And again, I do wonder what would have happened if NiP didn't get that kill with the boost, because I feel like Mousesports probably would have waited until around the 40-second mark and a bit before really getting some significant map control. But either way, they respond to the frag and barely survive with 1 player.
Like the NiP went for the double eco here, they have a lot of rounds to play with, and they realize the importance of utility on the CT side of Cobble, also the off on pyth, so they want to give themselves the best chance of winning the round. And they did that with pyth taking down NiKo.
Nice, Janko. All right, so the 4 versus 5 here for Mousesports to deal with, and it's going to require them to actually start taking some space here. They don't really have anything in A, towards A rather, A long and middle. They are working on it right now, though. They've got the bomb over there, and it's next towards the Dragon Lore Tapestry that's going to be able to pick up a frag as the action comes in towards A long. And this effort from Mousesports is actually going somewhat to plan here, although that was until Friberg came into the equation there. Nice little pop flash there as well towards A long to delay anyone peeking him if they were to be trying to do that. And he's going to be able to fall back slowly due to that in towards the site. Unknowingly, Nex is pushing up A long right now, but there are players here on the angle towards CT and rather the connector, and Nex is going to be able to smoke that one off, toss over the Molotov, go for the peek, and this has to work for Mousesports. It has to work. There's the spray down from Nex long range, picks it up. Very nice prediction from Nex, able to take the second frag, but it cannot stop there. He's got to get the next one as well. It is the 4th player, pyth. with that AWP, and the bomb needs to be recovered. pyth has an angle towards it, it would seem. This is pretty dangerous. Let's see if Nex can actually circumvent this. Looks like he's going to do that. So smart from Nex. He's actually going to flank pyth. Beautifully done by Nex. All 4 kills for him. Lovely rounds.
Sick stuff from Nex. I'm not sure if he maybe saw pyth there, but while he was walking down behind the flower pots, or maybe even popped up on radar, because you could see that he had a pretty good guess where pyth is, almost pre-fired that position. So great stuff from him, and a really, really important round for Mouse. Now NiP is on another eco.
Indeed they are, but they will have another big buy in the following round to test Mousesports. With Mousesports catching up pretty quickly though. Speaking of quick, they're moving into this cycle pretty quickly. Not going to rest on the normal.
And also what's really important is they won that round with losing NiKo immediately in the round. And not just losing him as a player, but he was supposed to keep NiP occupied towards that B bomb site by putting pressure from B platform, something that Olaf was probably the first one to do, and is probably the one most notorious for it as well. So once you lose that player, it becomes much more difficult for you to apply map pressure and win the round eventually. But Nex, with that great 1v3, does the job for Mouse.
Does indeed. And it's going to be a pretty tough round here for NiP at this point, with no Kevlar, just some Deagles and the UMP. And I like that Mousesports are going for a bit of a set piece in here. They're gathering up, going for the big push, dispersing out to the side. But this is dangerous. Forest had a chance there, a real chance at getting a 1D, but it's pyth coming in close range. Now they're distracted with pyth. This can have a lot of damage in this situation, but he's actually going to run forwards and try to take an opportunity, and he's actually done work. 2 of these players, Nex and chrisJ, will die from 1 bullet from the Deagle at any location, and that's the healthy player dead. Forest finding the headshot onto Denis there, and now he's able to walk forwards. And there's the flick from Friberg, and all of a sudden, everything falls apart. chrisJ on 2 HP has to go for the bomb plant here, and there it is. Friberg with the frag, able to just work his way around the statue to finish the round off, and surprising round indeed. Mousesports, what the hell happened?
Typical Mousesports happened then. They grind out the tough round. Next with an amazing 1v3 keeps them in the game. Then they go on to lose pistol then.
Nice.
With only Friberg having armor as well.
Nice.
All right then, 6th round lead for NiP, not Mousesports. Straight on your Nex on the AK, those will be important. I do wonder if with 3 pistols in tow, Mousesports will try and put somebody into the drop zone. Speedy's headed in that direction. Well, he was. I think he's going to stop now. He's lost half his life. pyth going to spot chrisJ, going for a peek on the corner of the smoke there, maybe a bit ill-advised. And he will be duly punished for it. So that's one of the rifles down, though Denis has managed to pick it up. But Mousesports, they've got absolutely no map control whatsoever. This does make things a little bit awkward when they want to go for a rotation.
NiKo playing with Get Right,
wow.
and he is going to somehow outplay Get Right completely with that orb. Just NiKo things there, very, very nicely done. Not easy to do. And that is the sort of leveling action that they needed, but they still need to break into the bomb site, and there's an AWPer there to stop them. pyth is in a great position there by the chicken coop if they were to try to push B plateau. And NiP have good positions, generally speaking, across the map, despite being a man down. And having 2 players on Deagles is definitely going to be somewhat of a hindrance here for Mousesports. You can see NiKo there looking for that pick onto that door position, but NiP know better than that. And it's Forest here with the first frag, going for the peak. Great shot from NiKo, got flashed there as well. And there was pre-fire from Forest, so very well done to get that kill, but Xizt will get it right back, taking down NiKo. But the AWP is going to be lost, and it's Nex and Denis powering forwards against 3 players. The spray comes in. Nex gets both players down to Friberg now on the side. His unknown position is good for 1, but now he is known in this corner. Nowhere to turn. Denis is not going to get the kill in time. Oh no, Denis. I guess he was just predicting the peak there. Gambling on predicting the peak. But if it works, it looks good, but if it doesn't work, you look terrible.
If Friberg makes a silly mistake, then it looks great, but if he plays actually correct Counter-Strike, then there's nothing to go off of. I think Friberg made a name for himself on Cobble from hiding in these spots. Even in the old versions of of Cobble. He was really good at it.
I think it was
Yeah.
Forrest at the major with the Mag 7 as well,
Yeah,
jumping.
and
Speaking of Mag
Friberg
7s.
was at barrels, and Get Right is the Mag 7 king, probably there, along there with JW. And they're just getting picked apart.
Looks like we may have come to the end for
This is the end.
Mousesports. Next, he's got some multi-frags. Need another one here. Mousesports have done well to get 8 rounds on the board.
Next is pretty awesome. He has been pretty awesome in this this Cobblestone game so far. Let's see it again. Let's see the clutch. We have Friberg in position on connector. Forrest looking down from above, spotting Next. Next goes for the duel. He wins that somehow. Very brave peek, and that's going to be the round though for NiP. The trade comes in, and just like that, NiP 16-8. It was a little bit of a struggle here or there. You know, we could start to see, a great start for Mousesports after 2 initial losses on the second half. But this was obviously all NiP. That super strong T side is so characteristic of them, and it's hard to see this map go any other way.
Definitely, even though we saw a couple of good rounds from Next, NiKo and chrisJ at different points in the game, it still wasn't enough for Mouse to even contest NiP, not even make it close. It was a pretty comfortable win for NiP. It shows some flaws with the map, maybe not flaws with the map, but it shows how with a good T side, when you play it really well, there's not much that the CTs can do to counter. It depends a lot on gambles and risks, and whether your players will be able to deliver individually. So a great map from NiP, but it was their pick. They were kind of expected to take it, and now we're moving on to Dust 2, which will be Mousesports' pick, and I expect Mousesports to be much stronger on this map.
All right, James, any thoughts from you before we hit the break?
I agree with the end of what Janko just said there.
Only the end?
Basically, well,
What
mostly
about the
I don't
beginning,
disagree
James?
with the rest of it, but I mean, those, what I meant to say is it matches the thoughts that I would say in that it's NiP's pick. They're much better on Cobblestone and Mousesports. I think how they set up at A seems to be a problem for them. Their decision making isn't always consistent. Like, I mean, going back to the second round, okay, they're relatively close with the pistols. Let's move all the way back to the site, but not engage them until they're close again, and then we've got nowhere to back off to. Then we die and lose the round. You know, there are clear problems with their CT side. So you know, it's an expected result, and hopefully they become stronger on that map over time.
But that said, yeah, we're going into Dust 2, which is a fantastic map for Mousesports, and one that is becoming more of an NiP map again. It's a map that they've been comfortable on. They're playing a lot more. They've got more strats on it. So this is going to be an exciting one. I think it's one of the best maps to see these two teams play each other on. So I'm excited. But first, it is time for a quick break, guys. We'll be right back with NiP and Mousesports on map 2, Dust 2.